So if you're sitting there saying, well, my home's not selling because of interest rates, that's a cope. And that's, that's all it is.
Hey there, everyone. Dave Barlow here with the gang from Sell for 1%. And the latest numbers from the Columbus Realtors Board has come out for the month of July. It is August 23rd, and it takes a whole month to compile all this stuff. And I think they do it because of the NAR compiles all these across the country. Then they produce a nationwide look, and then the individual MLSs pop theirs out at the same time. So with no further ado, we have Jay Barlow with us. I don't know why I called you Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay Barlow. Nice to meet you, everybody.
Just back from a cruise with Elon Musk around the world, hence the background. And then we also have Jamie, my youngest, here this morning. Jamie, I see you got the memo about the cool-looking shirt, so you're looking handsome this morning.
Thank you, sir.
So let's bring up these numbers here. And Jay, I'll let you give your analysis first of what strikes you about the updated numbers here.
I mean, just, I guess going in on a glance, something I've been talking to my sellers about, and kind of, this is the review mirror. This is what just happened in July. It's over, a month old now, which is crazy. And then we're trying to look out the windshield and predict the future based on what's in the review mirror.
Right.
And, like what I see when I look at this is, agents that are, telling their sellers, well, you're not selling because of interest rates, or you're not selling, because of election. All these things do factor in. And I'm right there with you, telling clients, hey, rates have been higher, so hold out. We're selling more homes last month and this month than we were, the year before. So more homes are selling. So if you're sitting there saying, well, my home's not selling because of interest rates, that's a cope. And that's, that's all it is. It's price, it's condition, there's a variety of different factors that are going in, but homes are selling. Now, if you look at the inventory, it's not like every single home is selling right away. We've got a big increase in inventory, and that's not being driven by new listings. New listings are only up, about 5% or so. I don't know what these ones are in July.
11% new listings for July, and 10% overall for the year.
So listings are up a couple hundred, then the inventory's up, significantly compared to that. You can look and see, days on market increasing, that's where, where you're seeing those numbers bear out is it's taking longer to sell. So there's this balancing act, and that's why you're paying me to come in and be the listing agent. If we price it for $100,000, the doors are going to get knocked off the hinges, and there's going to be 1 million showings. You price it for $1 million, and no one's going to come look. So it is trying to find this sweet spot on price where you're not taking forever to sell, but also if you're selling in 1 or 2 days, that's not normal in this market either. So where do you price it to get the absolute most money without giving the house away, while also not taking, 3 and 4 months to sell? So that becomes the balancing act.
Yeah, that balancing act, I really think, comes from the pricing model that we would put together, for that particular seller. And as you mentioned, it takes into, condition, location. It takes into, time of year, what the interest rates are. But the biggest factors that I see in getting a home priced correctly is either condition. I can walk into a house, and if it's a Pottery Barn looking home that's clean, just everything's been updated, that house is going to sell quick. The house that has, some older furnishings is may going to sit a little bit if you're either competitively or overpriced a little bit. I think, Jamie, you can kind of talk to this because you work mostly with buyers. My personal feeling is buyers have become more picky about what they're going to buy.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think the numbers do agree with that sentiment as well. More days on market, more listings on the market. Buyers have more options, so they don't have to necessarily jump at something. And I mean, that's mostly true until you walk through a nice house that everybody else thinks is nice, and then, like Jay said, it's gone in 2-3 days. Um, you know, original list price is down a tiny bit as compared to over 100%. So again, I think it's just buyers have more options when they're looking to buy something. Interest rates are a little higher, and I think that combines for people being a little more picky. But then again, if you walk through something like you said there, Dave, a Pottery Barn house that's fully updated, upgraded, priced correctly in a great location, it's still going to fly off the shelf. That is what I am seeing. But if you are missing some updates and it's not in the best shape, you have the potential to sit for a while until the right buyer does come along.
The other thing that I'm seeing, and I don't know, Jay, if you're looking at this, is on the back side, we're able to look at how many people are looking at one of our listings online. It doesn't include Zillow and, ancillary web pages, but through the MLS. And, we have our interpretations of the numbers based over a number of years as to how many online views generate how many showings, and how many showings then generate an offer. That all those numbers seem to be ticking up as far as, what used to be, 100 online views would generate, 2 to 4 showings. I think that number now is maybe 1 to 3. What are you seeing?
I'm skewing it that way too, just to try and make sense of it all. But again, we're in the fog of war, seeing it real time. And what Dad's talking about is something that I don't think that any other realtor, and I don't know any other realtor tracks it this way. It's something that, Dad taught me a long time ago, where, we look on the backside. Zillow will track how many views and saves you have, and you all can see that. Zillow is a page where, like, my wife's on there liking properties, and so it's not really a serious buyer. The MLS, those are people that are saved with search criteria with a realtor that are looking at your house. And we know from tracking this, the number should be 2 to 4%. So yeah, Dad, most of mine now, it's hard to tell, okay, is that because of elections? Is it because of school? Is that, the interest rate impact of things? The other thing with rates, as we're talking, Jamie's talking about buyers, being more selective with what they choose to pull the trigger on. I think a lot of people, it's out in the ether that rates are going to be coming down, and they don't understand quite how rates are working, and they think that, in September they're going to be lower. There may be a lot of people that are being selective for that reason too, because they think that, rates will be dropping here on the front end. But with the way we track this on the backside, the showing count seems to be getting higher, and also noticing, we usually historically look for a 2 to 4% conversion on these views to showings. And then we also will look at, we get about 7 to 10 looks per offer. So I'm seeing it skew more towards about 1% showings and probably 10 to 15, before an offer. Not always. I mean, I have a couple of listings that, it just takes one, and it shows well to everybody. And then you have other ones that, they look at 20, 30 people look at it, and there's no offers yet. So, that's where we're trying to find this balancing. But yeah, Dad, I mean, to me, it's more like, it's not 07 or 08. No, it's more like 14 or 15 to me. And I guess people kind of forget what 2019 was like. 2019, there was a lot of sales, but appreciation was flat, across the country in 2019.
Right.
So I think we're returning to a more balanced market, even though sellers have the advantage because prices are so high and there's not a lot for sale. But now buyers are able to say, well, we're not going to, pull the trigger on this one because there's 3 more down the road. And so I think we're feeling the effects of all that's kind of coming together.
Yeah, one of the things that, because the number of homes that we sell as a team here, we get to see things a lot sooner, a lot earlier than most other agents because we're out there doing it. You mentioned average sales price. Excuse me. We're up in July to $377,000 is the average sales price, plus 4%, 4.6 over last year. Overall, year over date, we're up to 365 or a 6% increase. So, even as it feels like maybe the market is slowing a little bit, home appreciation values are still going up. Interest rates are kind of baked in 30 days at a time. And so for the next 30 days, you're probably not going to see a lot of activity until, we have the next either rate drop, because that rate drop's already baked in. And then what's the future look like for the Fed at that time? So, all right, fellas. Well, I appreciate the conversation. A lot of information. If you have any questions whatsoever, as mentioned, we do a lot of business. We have a lot of vendors that we work with. I was just in a listing yesterday, and I gave out 5 different vendors that we work with. HVAC, painters, carpeting, roofing, windows. It's like, well, who do you have for this? Who? And there's with your mother being Italian, you guys will get I have a guy. Everybody's got a guy. And so I got a guy. And that's kind of the running joke. But those are the resources that you tap into when you work with us here at Sell for 1%. Jay on the listing side, Jamie on the buyer side. I tend to be a little more on the listing side, but we all work with both sides. And again, if you need help, don't hesitate to pick up the phone, give one of us a call. We'd be more than happy to help you out. If you like the information that we are talking about here today, be sure to like and subscribe and click that notification bell. So as we put out more content, you'll be the first to know on your blog. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And we will talk again shortly.